Hello, everyone. Welcome to OI Films. I'm Jordi Steele, and I'm joined, of course, by Cameron Howe. This
Hi.
is our Phase 6 and 7 review of the MCU that was revealed a couple weeks ago. We did our Phase 5 review, and that will be on, or Phase 5 preview, that will be on the channel somewhere. If you
Just
look
back
for
away.
it.
I'll maybe put it up there in the
Yeah,
the right
just,
corner.
yeah.
It's fine.
Bam. So yeah, kicking off, we have in the fall of 2024 something.
It's Fantastic Four, isn't it?
Nope. The first project, the first title is unannounced currently.
Oh, Disney Plus show though, probably, isn't it? You'd imagine.
Possibly, probably, yeah. And then maybe it's Armor Wars. Maybe.
Maybe it makes sense, but I
Fall
don't know why they didn't
2024,
date it.
Armor Wars or Werewolf by Night.
No, because Werewolf by Night's finished. It's in the can, isn't it? It's done.
Oh, maybe. And then on November 8th, 2024, we have Fantastic Four. Who's your dream casting, Cameron?
You know I don't have one, Jordy. I want John Krasinski, Emily Blunt,
No.
Jason Segel, and who should play Johnny? Chris Evans. There, done.
So bad. I mean,
Who's
Jason
the
Segel's not bad.
No, that's not a bad one, to be fair.
That's
I'm just
not
trying to
bad.
think of what the dream
Jason
team
Segel
was.
or Seth Rogen would be quite funny.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, a big selling point so far of Jason Segel and Seth Rogen is that they are Jewish. And people would like a Jewish actor to play Ben Grimm, who is a Jewish character.
Yeah. I mean,
Some criteria.
makes sense.
But yeah, Mr. Reed,
Yes. Dr. Reed,
Mis-
thank you very much.
Dr. Reed Fantastic. It's a Doctor Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic is my father. I'd like him to be played by John David Washington, or who's the other guy that's a good William Jackson Harper, or William Harper Jackson from The Good Place.
Yeah.
Chidi Anagonye.
Do you think they're still scared to do stretchy? We only
We
saw it
kind
briefly.
of saw Stretchy briefly in Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah.
but I feel like I think arms, right? I think stretching arms and limbs is fine. I think they didn't want to do Miss Marvel stretchy because of the whole embiggen thing, and that would have looked very strange. And I
But she
think
did
what they
embiggen.
went with, yeah, and what they went with eventually worked, and it looked
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they had made her skin stretch and her head stretch, and it would have just looked very strange. But I
I
feel
want
like
someone to become a bowling ball at some point and then bowl down enemies. I'd love that to happen. I'd love someone to
right,
transform into like a plane, possibly, or it's like on the water. I'd like someone to like someone to be like kicked really fast by like and then like Reed to be like kicked really fast, him to like skim across the water, and like a flat like a stone be skipped like a stone.
right.
Please, you know, I just want them to like do new and creative shapes. I don't want them to just be like,
If you just watch Incredibles, you'll be able to see all that.
I know, but I want that in live action. I want to be
Sue
creeped
Storm,
out.
I feel like Sue Storm's probably you could go with anyone. You could go. I've seen Vanessa Kirby, Anna de Armas, Margot Robbie was rumored.
But none of them would want to commit to like 6 film contracts. Not that they do them anymore, realistically, but you know what I mean. Like,
Well, you say that, but supposedly, according to the LA sources of The Sun, a new UK newspaper,
the reputable source, the Sun.
reputable The Sun, Harry Styles has signed a 5 film contract worth $100 million.
Really?
$100 million.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know if I buy that, but sure.
So yeah, Fantastic Four. It could also. I think of although Kang is primarily considered a Fantastic Four villain. I don't think they will encounter Kang in this film, or I don't think that will be the main plot line, because I think this one will feature Doctor Doom. And I think that Doctor Doom might appear in Phase 5. I wouldn't be surprised if he's introduced as in Phase 5.
But Victor or Doctor? Like, are we getting an origin story, or are we jumping straight in?
Victor Von Doom. I don't know, and I don't know if I'd hope they do him properly, like, because he's a magic character, in the comics. He doesn't just shoot lightning like he does in the films. He is based on magic and has magic origins, as well as having all the Doom bots. But yes, we shall see on November 8th, 2024. And then we have 4 untitled projects, fall 2024, and then 2 in winter 2024, and then 1 in spring 2025.
Eternals 2? Question mark. I don't
Eternals
know if
2.
they would do that. Would they do that?
I mean, unannounced, we've got
Star Fox and the Eternals.
They've got to do Eternals 2. They'd be stupid not to. I've gone through all of that to not have those characters back, and also to cash in on Harry Styles.
That's what I was going to say. People went to see Eternals, even though the box office was like middling. I guess that's sort of still pandemic, but
yeah,
people went to see Eternals. I know a lot of young females went to go and see Marvel movies that wouldn't because Harry Styles was in it.
If they push Harry Styles as the main character of Eternals 2 and feature scenes in which he is topless, Eternals 2 will become the highest grossing film
of all time. Yep, I would go and see it if Harry Styles was topless. I was going to see it anyway.
Yeah. Other unannounced titles that there could be, Nova. Still haven't got a Nova.
That's a Disney Plus series, Jordi. You know that's a Disney Plus series.
Probably. X-Men. No mutants. At all. At the Comic-Con panel. Could be at D3 20 September.
I think it's gonna be in 7.
You think it's gonna be beyond?
I think it will be beyond. I think the groundwork will start being laid now. But I've got a feeling we're not going to see the X-Men until Phase 7. I think we'll see some mutants show up. I don't think we'll get a film called The Mutants. I think we will.
Yes.
Well, I think we'll just start seeing them be sprinkled in, but we won't see any of the OGs because I read somewhere, and I can't remember who's was it. It was the contracts because all of the Fox stuff came into Disney. They have those contracts still. So they have to buy out all of the main cast from the shitty.
Yeah, was it 2025?
Yeah, that's why I think we're not getting original. We're not getting a new Wolverine. We're not getting it. Well, actually, we probably could get a Wolverine. I'd imagine the Jackman contract's up, so it's that.
I mean,
yeah,
we are getting Deadpool 3.
Yeah, no, but that's different. So I think there was it was different because they want them to continue doing it, but also old versions of the characters can show up. So because because Patrick Stewart's Professor X, he was happy. It was contractually okay for him to show up in in Multiverse of Madness, but because you couldn't get another Jean Grey unless you wanted original Jean Grey, you'd have to get Sophie Turner in to do it until the contract's up. I think that's also maybe one that makes tracks when you think about Quicksilver-ish. Because they must have just used that contract, even though it's a TV show. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, nor have I read the contract.
Yeah, even though in the MCU, Pietro Maximoff technically wasn't Quicksilver or a mutant, and that's sort of how they got around it in Age of Ultron. But that would make sense if that was why Aaron Taylor Johnson didn't show up in WandaVision. But yeah, so like Miss Marvel and Namor, mutants showing up. And it's not based on the blip and residual energy. And it seems like the mutant gene has just been a thing around for ages.
But no one's known to unlock it.
And who would have thought that? Who could have pitched something that in which the mutants were just been sparse?
But but super sparse, and none of the
Mm.
mutations are worth anything or need to be unlocked. It's going to be like Inhumans, isn't it? Because the only way Kamala can
We don't
get her
mention them
mutation,
around here.
the only, the only way Kamala can get her mutation is through her cool little wristbands.
Yeah.
You know how the so is is Professor X going to be stuck in the wheelchair and the wheelchair is going to grant him his powers? Is that how it's going to work? Or like are the Fantastic Fours going to be mutants?
Namor was born with wings on his feet.
Namor was born in the water and is a half Trandoshan.
Trandoshan. Other projects. Just quickly moving on. It could be Thor 5, a Spider-Man sequel, Young Avengers
Hercules.
to introduce Hercules. To introduce possibly Iron Lad, who is another Kang variant. Not what's his name from Iron Man 3. A Spider-Man sequel, although they probably wouldn't announce it in the MCU.
They never
timeline.
have. I don't think they've ever announced. They've never announced a Spider-Man movie. They've either left the date free, or there's always been a big gap, and you're like, that's where that is. Like, cause
I know what's going there.
I called Far From Home, coming out in that gap before it was ever announced, because I was like, there's a big gap there. That's Spider-Man's going there. I was like, that's right. So
that's what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could get season 2s of Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, possibly season 3 of Loki.
Yeah, I wish there was more recurring seasons though, and I kind of wish they didn't count as part of like the official timeline of the phases in a way, because then it kind of like, I mean, less stuff, but also then more stuff. I don't know. I just wish.
With Loki, who knows?
I would love a season 2 of Hawkeye. Not that that'll ever happen, because that was that was one of my favorite MCU shows so far. So
well, with Young Avengers, Kate Bishop could.
I know, but Jeremy Renner. And it's controversial, but I quite enjoy Jeremy Renner. So
I mean, Hawkeye was one of the best, in my opinion, is one of the best Disney Plus series.
Totally.
My 3 favorites are probably Loki, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel.
And also, What If doesn't count, because What If season 2 wasn't in the timeline, but it was in the timeline.
Yeah, there's also all the
TV shows
that we can talk about. Freshman
year, X-Men 97.
Yeah.
I'm out in like 10 days.
Yeah. Could we get a Black Knight project? A film or a series? Get old Dano Whitman.
Well, he's going to show up in Blade.
Yeah.
So
Midnight Suns?
That would be cool.
Ghost Rider.
There's all these characters that I feel like that now, because we've got all these Disney Plus shows, and we've got all this, I'm sitting going, are they films? Like, Kevin Feige must be sitting going, so are these big enough to be films, or should they just be TV series that we can sort of hide behind the fact we don't release streaming numbers?
What story can we do with these characters? How can we extend them into 8 films, basically? And what else can we introduce into them? Because you got to think, with Secret Wars coming up, we'll just say at the end of the phase, it would be strange to do Secret Wars and not have loads of characters. Like, that's why the X-Men not being in Phase 5 is a bit strange, or Phase 6 is a bit strange, because Secret Wars is a major thing.
But then it doesn't make... Why... What? If the contract thing's true, why do Secret Wars now? But then is there ever a good time to do Secret Wars as contracts expire, actors stop wanting to do it, or just aren't around anymore? It doesn't, it doesn't make sense. And then we get stuff like Multiverse of Madness, where it's like, oh, it's going to be all multiversal, so lots of variants, and we get like 4 people that are in it for 5 minutes. And I understand, I understand that like it was a sort of Doctor Strange, but you hyped it up to be like an Avengers level. Like Captain America Civil War was still a Captain America movie. Yeah. It had all the other superheroes in it. as side characters, and that's what at least I expected on the ground. But Doctor Strange was not that, even though it was hyped up to be that. Sorry. Continue.
Did you see Kevin Feige saying that he wants he's helping what's his name, Rhett Reese?
Yep.
Who's writing Deadpool 3?
Rhett Reese and not Paul Miller. What's Rhett Reese and I want to say Link.
Not Tim Miller. Yeah, and I guess Ryan Reynolds will also be sort of writing it. That's it. Yeah. He's helping them get it to. He wants it to be Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame levels. So who knows what that means? But there could be X-Men in that.
Yeah, you would hope so. But then, is it mainline MCU? Are we waiting until 2025 for that?
So while we've been talking,
okay,
I've thought of something, but we'll get to a point where I can tell you what I've just thought of. Other projects could be a Shang-Chi sequel or a Ten Ring series.
Have we just had the same thought? I'm sorry, we just had the same thought. You can tell me later, but I think we may have had the same thought.
I'll tell you later. If it's part of a future project, you can tell me when we get to that project. Okay. Right. So the next one is a major one. It's Avengers Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 2025. So we're in 2025.
I'm not excited. Is that weird?
You're not excited.
I'm not excited.
Why?
I think it's such a early time to announce this. Kang has been in a version of Kang has been in one project so far.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers Endgame and Infinity War was not announced until we knew Thanos very well, and he was like a looming threat. He'd already appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy.
We'd seen him in Guardians.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. We'd seen him show up in a lot of
met
a couple
He Who
post-credit
Remains.
scenes. We have, but he's not been called Kang.
No,
we don't know.
We are about to.
General audiences don't know him as Kang. They've told us, oh, Kang's coming, and we're all supposed. And me, who's never picked up a comic book with Kang in his life, is going and me, a version of me, a variant of me who doesn't have you in my life, and has only picked up a couple comic books in his entire life. Goes, who? Like what? Who's Kang? Like it doesn't make sense. Like it just was such a weird. I get they had to make a big deal for coming back to SDCC, but I didn't think it. For me, it didn't pay off as well as it could have. I think maybe hold those cards to your chest a little bit more.
So Kang Dynasty gets its name from a 2001 comic storyline, which, fun fact, was part of an event called Nuff Said, which was a series of comics which featured no dialogue or captions. It was just art telling the story. I don't think the comic story told there is what we're going to get. It's just it involves Kang invading Earth, intending to conquer it to then save it. And I don't think they'll do that specific one. But the Kang Dynasty is a name given to the Council of Kangs. So Kang is a man, time traveler. He has loads of variants. Sometimes they get together. Council of Kang, like the Council of Ricks.
I was gonna say that.
And also the Council of Reeds, of Reed Richards. So that could be it. It could be Kang basically trying to conquer the world, conquer the multiverse.
Is it an Avengers level threat?
Yes. And I've got to. So
and
I've
I'm
got
sorry. But shouldn't one of the projects? I don't think we even mentioned it. Shouldn't one of the projects before this be Doctor Strange 3 then?
Yes. Good point.
It has to be.
Yes. Possibly. Yeah. Good point. Yes. We get two projects after Kang Dynasty in summer 2025. Who knows? And then we'll get Avengers Secret Wars in November 7th, 2025. Now,
Kang wins.
I have a lot to say.
Okay. We are at 20 minutes already. So good luck.
Yes, so I will get through it. So, Kang, I pitched a couple of weeks ago on my TikTok our Red Wolf project. And part of my project at the end of a Red Wolf series is that at the end, Kang abducts Red Wolf and basically forces him to join his Anachronauts team like he does in the comics, which is made up of dangerous figures from history who he basically pressures into working for him, and in return he will return them to their time. I still think we will see Anachronauts, whether that be Kang's henchmen or another variant of Kang forming a team to fight Kang. And I do think either way we will see that in Loki season 2, and I think Loki might be part of that. So yeah, that's one thing of the Anachronauts. Another thing I want to say is, let me basically analyze what is being set up if these next few phases. So we have the multiverse set up. We have Loki breaking the timeline, effectively creating the multiverse by Sylvie killing He Who Remains, who was basically controlling and monitoring a sacred timeline. In No Way Home, we saw the effect of messing with the timeline, altering magic, now that the multiverse exists. So when it was just a sacred timeline, if you did a memory-altering spell trying to forget who Spider-Man was, that would just affect the sacred timeline, but it probably shifted into other multiverses, and that's how those incursions began, with the other Peters coming in and all the villains coming in. Multiverse of yes.
Okay. Does that mean we could have a situation where Toby goes back or Andrew goes back and no one knows?
There's always that possibility. I wouldn't put that, because that will make money.
And what about Morbius?
Multiverse of Madness introduced us to all the multiverses, the concept of the multiverses, and the concept of incursions, which are when the boundaries between universes are broken. Now remember that term, incursions. The Secret Wars setup. Okay. Loki introduced us to He Who Remains, the victor of a past multiversal war, and a variant of potentially Nathaniel Richards. With Sylvie killing him, this seemed to free one or more of his variants, including Kang the Conqueror, and I think we'll see a ton of his variants throughout phases 5 and 6. So I think Jonathan Majors, he could be in every project, but he won't be Kang the Conqueror in every project.
Okay.
So he could be... Oh, what's he called? When he was... I think it's like Ramen Tut, when he was Egyptian king. And then there's also... Oh, what's he called? I think it's like Maximus or something like that, where he was a magician, where he could appear in Agatha Coven of Chaos.
So he's going to be like the Skrull theory that you had for Phase 4, basically.
Yes.
What will Jonathan Majors show up as in this series?
Basically, he could reveal himself to be the instigator of a lot of events throughout the MCU, because he is a time traveler. So his Maximus, or whatever he's called, I'm so annoyed that I can't forget his name. He's usually magic based, so he could have given Agatha Harkness the Darkhold and set off those events. Multiverse of Madness once again introduced us to incursions. I think throughout Phase 5 and 6 we will see Kang conquering both his other variants and other universes, and this will lead to a ton of incursions, and maybe we'll see the Council of Kangs trying to control that. I also think we might get a subplot focusing on Kang being related to Reed Richards, or, like in the comics, potentially Victor Von Doom. So when the newly formed Avengers defeat the Kangs somehow in Kang Dynasty, maybe using Iron Lad, the younger version of Kang, who is in the back quickly gathering a bunch of his technology and attempting to save the multiverse by himself by restoring it into one world, into a battle world. Victor Von Doom.
Do you think Battle Worlds is going to be Phase 7 then? Is this what we're leaning towards? Do you think this is okay?
Yeah,
because we predicted this.
We did predict this ages ago. Because we were like, oh, it could be the first film could be Secret Wars, as in like the 1974 or whenever it was, series, and then the next phase could be a series of Battle World stuff. But yeah, there's always a chance that it could be Victor Von Doom if they have him present throughout Phase 5 and Phase 6.
Could he show up in Black Panther? Just get him in now. Let's just start it. Let's get the ball rolling.
That's been a rumor that Latveria is going to be introduced and Doom is going to be in it. So that would be cool, and that would help set him up, because he needs to be built up to get to this point of becoming God Doom, or Kang takes his place in the 2015 Secret Wars and he becomes God Ruler of Battle World, basically having conquered the multiverse and turning it into one world that he controls, which would fit his character essentially. Because is Phase 6 really going to be 1.5 years? Or is Secret Wars not just the beginning of a film and the announcement of a film, but the beginning of a year of storylines with Kang or Doom controlling Battle World?
That's literally what I was going to say. Is my ideal either Phase 7, or we just don't have. It's not even called a phase. We just call it Battle Worlds, and we just have after Phase 6 finishes. If it's just a year and a half, I mean, what Phase 4 was only a year and a half anyway, wasn't it? That's
yeah.
So I say we go in after Phase 6. We just go Battle Worlds, and then we have, hopefully, I would hope, some of the most creative movies known to man. They have to be f***ing insane. Like,
yeah,
but they won't be. But just
they could be.
They could be, but they won't be. And we just have some of the craziest films we've ever seen. Just for a year. A year we can have Disney Plus series. Maybe, like, I would love a Disney Plus anthology series alongside big event movies. So we had maybe 3 or 4 big event movies, and then just, I guess, a drop of anthology stuff throughout the year. I think would be really cool. And then maybe some, if you want to keep Daredevil, if Daredevil's still going, keep it. You can pretend. Well, we know you can just be like, this is all set before Secret Wars. Ignore that if you want to keep all that going. But I'd love to see like a Miss Marvel, Miss Marvel special or something, like either in its own series or as like a little event, long, short, or feature length TV movie, I guess. All in this kind of.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff they could do, and then leading up to the final film, which is basically the big battle that saves the world and restores everything. The thing that I realized earlier when we were talking about the X-Men is animated show X-Men 97. 2025. What a way to introduce them in Battle World by bringing them in to live action. Already established, just cast people as the live action versions.
It would make sense. It would make sense to do. My thought was Deadpool. That's what I thought. Deadpool. Yeah. The Battle Worlds would be a great place to just stick him in and just do it. Like, just you know, that was
the only thing they'd be sacrificing with just turning the 97 team into live action would be establishing new heroes and building them up, because they'd be like middle-aged.
And I'd rather have that. I'd much rather have.
You'd rather have that.
I'd rather have establishing new stuff. I really like your idea of the Black Panther, Charles Xavier kind of thing, or was it Black Panther, Charles Xavier? What was it? It was like a race hate crime, Charles Xavier, or something like that. Magneto. Yeah, Magneto. That's what it was. Sorry. Yes, I thought that would be
have him
cool.
played by not Gus Fring. His real name, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes, not Gus Fring.
No, I've been watching Breaking Bad, so and Better Call Saul. But yeah, Gustavo. Yeah, no, not Gustavo. Giancarlo Esposito.
No.
As Magneto.
Moff
Yeah.
Gideon. That's not Moff Gideon. It's Moff Gideon.
It is Moff Gideon. Yeah.
Yes.
If I was in control, that's how I'd do it. Just they're here.
Yep.
Deal with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, but I like your idea so much more.
No, I mean as in like the mutants have been.
Oh,
like,
they've
the
just
mutant
been-
gene has been a thing.
Yeah.
They're just now sort of emerging more rapidly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where could Phase 7 go after Secret Wars and beyond, Cameron?
Galactus, please.
Okay.
I'm horny for my boy Galactus. I got very excited in Love and Thunder when there was like a guy with like a big helmet thing, and I was like,
they
"Oh
really,
my god,
with
they're
Eternity,
doing it!"
yeah.
And I was like, "Yes!"
So after Secret Wars, after the restoration of the multiverse, I think the actions of those on Earth, because everyone's on Earth that's causing all these incursions, will be noticed by potentially the Living Tribunal, because we keep getting him teased throughout
that head's just
Phase 4
everywhere.
Yeah. But almost definitely Arisham the Judger, or the Judge. Judger is such a weird word. Who was revealed in Eternals, and we know has his eye on Earth, because at the end he was like to the Eternals, I will judge Earth and see if they are worthy of not being destroyed. Now, seeing all that happen in Secret Wars, he's going to be like, right, well, no way I'm going to let them survive. But instead of, and I'm sure Arisham can just be like, and then Earth is destroyed. But would it not be better to use Earth to his advantage and maybe feed something that has needed feeding for a while? Could he subdue the hunger of Galactus?
Please. I thought Gore was going to free him by accident. That's what my entire thing was. I was going,
Yeah.
Did you not think that as well? I thought that was
Yeah, I
what's gonna
thought
happen.
by killing loads of gods, he would
Yeah.
kill the ones that are keeping Galactus at bay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Didn't
and
do
I
it.
think I think by a way that they defeat Galactus in the comics is by trapping him in the negative zone, which
The
I
Phantom
talked
Zone.
about in which I talked about in Miss Marvel. And I think that could lead on to maybe a nihilist being like, "Why did you trap this guy with us? We're going to kill you all now," and break in, and that starts off like the Annihilation event, and we could call it the Annihilation Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Or the next saga could be the Annihilation Saga. With X-Men, it could be the Phoenix Saga. We could also have the Ultimate Saga. There's so many places we can go, Cameron. It's
Do you
so
think they'd
brilliant.
split
I
off
don't
into
know-
an Ultimates universe? Is that possible? Do you think we'll have like two universes running parallel like they did for a while in the comics?
I don't know anymore, because like it could have been how they introduced the X-Men by being like Fantastic Four is in an Ultimate Universe, that's why we've never seen them, and X-Men are in a universe and that's why we've never seen them. But we now know that mutants are coming in, and they're probably just introduced Fantastic
Where does
Four
Morbius fit in?
606. Morbius fits in a trash can. But yeah, it's so, I don't know how you can't be excited for everything that's happening in the MCU currently.
I
don't
am
know.
excited for the prospect, but they don't seem to be delivering. Phase 4 has been a letdown quite significantly. I would argue. There's been a
Yeah.
couple gems, but for the most part, it's been a quite unfulfilling kind of setup. Like we were promised setup, and I don't think we got. I get the setup has been far too subtle.
But that's the thing. People are saying like, "Oh, it's terrible. There's like no direction in this phase." The first few phases,
I don't. They were better standalone
until-
films, though. So if you're going to tell me this interconnected universe and we're having all this time, you're gonna make they're gonna be like, oh, it's phase 1 was like really like loose. I'm not saying that. They're bad films. Eternals is a bad film. Black Widow is
not.
Eternals is a terrible film.
Black Widow's a fine film.
Black Widow's fine, but it's mediocre at
Shang-Chi's
best.
a good film.
Shang-Chi's good. Spider-Man's
Spider-Man.
good. Pretty good.
Really
Love and
good.
Thunder, bad to meh.
Love and Thunder is a fine standalone comedy.
But you can't
film.
tell me I'm not as good as Iron Man, not as good as we won't talk about Iron Man 2 and Hulk. Not, I would argue, not as good as First Avenger. Not as good as Avengers. They were good films when they came out. That was the issue. Whereas
better
Phase
than Captain Marvel.
Yes, of course, but that's different.
Better than Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I would argue I like Ant-Man and the Wasp more than these films. But yes, I don't think they're the same quality. But if they at least had some fulfilling stuff that was setting things up and you could see where it was going, I just don't think you can see where it's going at the moment. And that's what's annoying. Because it'd be fine
unless
if they were
everything
part
I've
of the
just
bigger
said is
jigsaw.
correct, and then I can see where it's going.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Highly unlikely. Yeah, people are saying they're fatigued suddenly.
I am. I hated Moon Knight.
I'm not one of those people.
I enjoyed Miss Marvel.
Cannot wait. I loved Moon Knight.
She-Hulk will be the thing that either kills me or makes me more excited.
Not Black Panther.
No, She-Hulk's next. Black Panther may restore some...
Yeah, but Black Panther might, again, reduce, and then Ant-Man as well. I feel like a lot of people will keep judging the thing that comes out and being like, oh, I'm so fatigued. But the next one...
that
might be good.
I
that
can't
might
do it anymore.
Me.
It's like me and a night out. So I can't have another one.
I can't have another one.
Ugh. Jesus Christ, help me, please. I have a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, please wrap this up. This is far too long.
Okay, thank you very much for watching. What do you think of Phase 6 and maybe 7? You can tell us how dumb our ideas are, or how you can't have a black man as Magneto. You can tell us in the comments. You can also tweet us at Ohio Films, at Real George Seal, and at CamzoOG. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for listening and watching.
We'll see you in 6 months.
Bye.